Hello there. Welcome into my channel. I am your host, Deidre, as in the ray of sunshine, here to brighten up your day and hopefully share and illuminate some wisdom and knowledge for you. In this video, I want to talk about the divine. And I know we all have an impression. And the reason why I say impression, it's almost like just a footprint. When you're walking on the beach and you're barefooted, of course, and you look back, you see footprints. Everyone's footprint is different when you're walking on a beach or in a forest. Everyone has different shoe size. The length of your toes is different. The fatness of your feet is different. Even the depth of your footprint is different because everyone weighs different weight amount. And so that's why I say impression, because everyone's impression of the divine is different. However, if we look at it at a holistic view, it is supposed to be different to you because your experience is different from my experience. But there's a universal pattern, or there's a universal knowledge or wisdom that is applicable to each and every different person. Because whether you're walking by yourself on this beach, or it's your sister or your brother that's walking on this beach, everyone's walking on the beach and we're all leaving different footprints in the sand. And so this knowledge is universal. We are here on Earth and we're part of a galaxy, a beautiful galaxy that is part of a multi-galaxy, multiverse. And it's just not just one universe, it's a multiverse. I like to call it a multiverse. And we are but one essence in this universe. So before I get into talking about divine wisdom, or what is the divine, or breaking down the divine for you, you would hear me use the terminology essence. When I use the terminology essence, it is because each and every one of us have a soul, have a spirit, and that spirit is an essence. Now, if we look at it on a broad scale, there's many different essences that also doesn't exist just in humans, but essences that exist in pets, animals, and plants. Not necessarily the plants that has a spirit, but it's the essence. It's the essence that you carry, or I would say like the nature of you, the feel of you. If you're growing a plant at home, that plant has a beautiful essence to it. It has a beautiful aesthetic. So I like to call it essence because we are all different types of essences. But we are all from one source, which is the Creator. And this Creator is love. Everyone believes and understands and knows what is love. But this type of love, this divine love from the Creator, whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Buddhist, or whether you're an atheist, you exist from something. You come from something. And I'm here to remind you that you come from source, from God, from the divine. When God or the divine or source expressed himself, he himself is love. He, she, no offense by the gender, but Creator cannot be limited or contained by a gender. So I'm just going to use universally he, but take no offense if you feel that God for you is a she. Creator or God or divine is love, and in his abundance he expressed himself. And when he expressed himself, when you are overfilled with joy and you express yourself, you express joy, you express laughter, you express different forms of joy. And so that is who we are. We are beings or essences from the source or from the creator, from God or from the divine, that when he expressed all his love and all his beauty and all his joy, little love was born. A bunch of little loves. 12 little loves was born. 24 little loves was born. 48 little loves was born. Whatever number you believe in, every one of us was created from source, which was love. And so therefore, you are love. You've always had love in you. Your essence is love, because we originate, or we come from a source which is divine. So now that we've covered what essence is and who the creator or the divine himself is, let's get into the study of the divine, or what I like to call it, divine wisdom. Yeah, the divine itself. So when we talk about divine, I want to break down the root word for you. Divine is how everything operates in duality. The word divine itself, D-I-V-I-N-E. D-I, the word D-I means two, die. So if you talk about dice, or if we talk about the divide sign starts with a prefix of di. And the divide sign is dividing, has a dot on top here and the dot on the bottom here, and the line in between. So that signifies that there is two things, die. So the divide sign clearly shows you physically or visually two things being divided, or there's two essences, there's two dualities. We can also look at different words that start with the prefix di. Divorce, dividend, diverse. All of these words signifies either one thing being separated, or there's multiple things. Divorce meaning two people are getting separated. There's two. It's always a duality. If we look up the word die, or the prefix, I should say, the prefix die, or dis, this means aside. It means to turn aside, and it means two. So with the root of the word being divide, everything revolves around two, or duality. The root word of the word divine in Latin comes from the word deus. And in Sanskrit, the word is known as deva, D-E-V-A. And that signifies a deity. So when we talk about the word divine, it is known in most religious texts, and is known in most religious texts, and also in science as well. When they talk about the divine, you have divine worship, you have divine guidance, you have divine law, and it signifies the ultimate supreme being of God or source himself. And so therefore you have the word divine. Now, what is the importance of this here on earth? Earth is very special. Here on earth, or the plane or the realm that we live in, it is very special. Earth specifically is the place or the planet where duality lives, or duality thrives. Everything has two. There's either good or there's bad. There's happy, there's sad, there's fear, there's love. On a spectrum, you have two sides, right? And so here on earth, what I like to say is, here on earth, we're here to experience the duality of things or essences, and our mission as earthly beings, we are charged, or our task is to find balance, is to find harmony within the duality of both. Because if you're too extreme on one side, there's always repercussions, or there's always consequences to being too extreme on one side. Now, we can see duality or divinity in the way how our physical body is made up. If you take a line down the center, down the meridian, down the center of your body, most things are two. You have two eyes, you have two nostrils, you have two lips, you have two hands, and you can continue going down. You mostly have two, almost everything. So that signifies in and of itself, the body that we are housed in, that signifies everything is two. And the key thing is to find the balance. Even our brains are split into the left side and the right side of the brain. And now both of them functions completely different. Now, I'm not going to get into any neuroscience right now, but you can do some additional research on your own. The left brain is in charge of the right side of your body, and the right brain is in charge of the left side of the body, and vice versa. Yeah. Now, the key thing is to find a synchronicity between two dualities. Now, we always have and we always struggle with polar opposites of everything when it comes to emotions, when it comes to choices. And the key thing is to find the balance, or find the harmony in the center, in the middle. And in my study, in my research, that I have found is the divine is the essence in the middle, is the balance, and love is always the center. Now, it's a challenge to live here on earth and not live in anger or not live in extreme happiness, but to find the essence and the balance in the middle, which is love. You see, in astrology, there's different planets that hold different essences and different meanings and different roles they play. Let's just say, for example, the planet Venus. We all know the planet Venus talks about love in partnership, love in yourself. That's the essence of Venus. And so that's the same way the essence of Earth is duality. It's the measure of operating in such a sense that you are completely aware of the two opposites or duality within every situation, within every nature, within every person, but with that knowledge still operating within the center, still operating in harmony, still operating in love. That is the key challenge, or that is the key mission here on earth for us people. Now, you can look at it in terms of emotions. You can look at it in terms of finances, having too much, having too less, but finding the balance. And you can look at it in different essences of life. And so when we're talking about divine and God being whole and the center, what we talk about in Christianity talks a lot about the devil. In some religions also talks about, Catholic talks about the devil. But I like to go more towards the study of spirituality by the yogis. In Sanskrit, which is one of the oldest form of languages here on earth, they term devil, or the word devil, where it's derived from, they term that as the opposite end or the opposite spectrum of God. So anything that is not of God, or anything that is on the opposite side of divine, is termed the devil. It's not necessarily an entity, or it's not necessarily a person, or it's not necessarily a feeling, but it's the opposite of God. And I always thought that was a beautiful analogy, because the word devil in Sanskrit is derived from, and the meaning of that word is derived from divine, from deva as well, meaning the opposite of deva, the opposite. So the next time you have a conversation about devil, remember, that the devil or anything of that essence is only the opposite of God or the creator or the divine. So you want to pay close attention to how you are operating in this divine world of duality. Duality is beautiful. Duality helps you to be able to see both sides of a situation, both sides of a person, both sides of anything. And when you have duality, you always have a choice between the two. And hopefully, my hope, and as I always encourage everyone, choose harmony, choose the balance. So, what is harmony, you may ask? Harmony is the knowledge or the essence of knowing the two things, but choosing to operate peacefully, lovingly, calmly, in balance with both. An extreme of joy and happiness is also to a detriment. An extreme of anger and sadness is also to a detriment. Everything on earth revolves around this duality. I love to talk about finance, so let's take a look at the stock market, for example, or the cycles in a business. Everything has a cycle. It goes up and it goes down. We are born and we grow old and we die. There's life and there's death. Everything has a duality here on earth. The purpose and the key thing to do is to operate in harmony with knowledge of the both. Operate in love. I hope this little video was helpful to you, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you for being here.